Alright, so this is going to be part 5 to what if Deku had Overhaul. So with that being said, I gotta say a few things. First off, I've read through the comments to the past parts, and a lot of people have been bringing up the point of why didn't Deku fuse with the Nomu. And the big reason is that when Overhaul uses his quirk to fuse with people, it changes his appearance to the point where it makes him look like a monster. And I don't think Deku would really want that, and I don't think people would see Deku the same for doing that, and that's the reason why he wouldn't do it. At least for now, he might do it for like a temporary thing, like fusing himself with another person so that they can, win a fight. But other than that, it's not really a thing that he would do on a whim like that. So that's the real reason why. So after that, I have two more things I gotta say. The first being that I'm going to go back to what if Nafumi was the sword hero. So I'm going to start writing the next part. I had a big break between the parts because I just had a lot of stuff to do, and right now I'm kind of free a little bit, as well as not really wanting to, get bored of the series. I kind of stopped for a bit, so I'm going to start writing the next part. So don't worry, between the time of me writing it and editing the video, there's gonna still be content coming out pretty regularly, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, the next part of what if Asta and Yuno were adopted by Mario and Leona, if you guys want the next part of that, if the recent video, that being part 3, gets 100 likes, then I'll make part 4 pretty soon. Like I said in the community post. So yeah. So with that being said, we could actually get into the part. So our part would start, or story would start after the cavalry battle. So this is where Deku and his team basically advance to the next part, and the first fight would be against Shinso. So Deku would have been warned by Ojiro about his mind control power. Obviously, he doesn't know exactly how it works. He just knows that he has some sort of mind control. So that's really why Deku would be on his toes, at least for this part. And he would be really cautious when he is with Shinso, because mind control is something that Deku has no real way to stop. Like even though it might seem kind of weak, there isn't that many quirks that can actually stop something like Shinso's kind of mind control. So we get to the first match, that being Shinso versus Deku, and here's the thing. Deku, he really wouldn't want to prolong the fight just because he doesn't want to lose. So what he would do in this scenario is that he would just create a wall after touching the ground, big enough to where Shinso had no chance of really climbing it or really going around it, using the area or using the platform that they're on to make the wall out of. So it's made of concrete, and he just pushes Shinso off the ring without really hurting him, and Shinso is knocked off. After this is where Deku would actually console Shinso, saying that, you have your own reasons for being in this and staying as long as you had, and I really respect someone who's gotten this far, even though you don't have a physical based quirk. But keep in mind that just because you have your own reasons doesn't mean that they overshadow others, and just because you have so much, determination, doesn't always amount to everything. But if you keep on trying, maybe one day you might accomplish your goals and what you're trying to do. So this is kind of to console Shinso, but to keep his ideas more realistic, kind of like the talk with All Might at the beginning of the series in canon against with Deku, but a little bit less harsh. I think Deku still wants Shinso to be a hero, but he wants him to be realistic about it. So yeah. So next we get to the next fight, and that is Deku versus Todoroki. So in this fight, it's a little bit weird since Deku doesn't have a direct... Well, he does have a few ways to get Todoroki, but he has one of the best counters for Todoroki, at least this Todoroki now, since Todoroki only uses his ice. Deku has the ability to just rearrange the matter and make it shoot back at Todoroki, and because of the way that Overhaul works, it would be, I guess, he could change it more than something like Todoroki. I would say, like, he could make multiple things go towards Todoroki, while Todoroki only has like one focus field of ice, if that makes sense. So Todoroki would try to end it quickly, just how he does with the other matches, but when the ice gets to Deku, he would just have to touch it, and then this would just go in the opposite direction, going towards Todoroki. And after Todoroki makes ice, it's not like he still has control over it. He only has the ability to create ice, but not really control it afterwards. So that's the real reason why Deku pretty much wins in this encounter, but we'll go over each kind of step. So I don't think Deku would actually get to the point where he would want to or even need to get Todoroki to use his fire side. He does know it exists, but at the same time, he doesn't really care too much about Todoroki, right? So it wouldn't be his place to really do that for him to help him unlock this side. I think Todoroki would naturally want to use it after a bit, after his fire or his ice not really working against Deku. I think he would want to use it against him in this fight, just so he has a chance of winning. And as this is going down, Endeavor is seeing this, and he doesn't know what Deku's... Or he has a pretty good idea of what Deku's quirk is, since he's seen a few examples of him using it earlier before, but he has a better idea of it now. And I think he would yell into the arena, and I think his voice would pop out more to Todoroki, since it is his father's voice. And he would tell him that if he wants to win this fight, he needs to use his fire side, because Deku isn't really going to have a chance to really direct it or redirect it. And I don't think this would help Todoroki that much. In fact, I would think it would demotivate him to use his fire side. He was really desperate to use it, and he was about to, but since Endeavor told him this, he really doesn't want to use it now. And because of this, the ice and the concrete that Deku has used, this actually pushes back Todoroki, because Todoroki doesn't have a chance to really save himself. When he would put ice down to basically break the fall, Deku could just use the ground to just break it, and because of that, he loses the fight. So we could get to the next fight, and this is Bakugo versus Deku. So in this one, it's gonna be a little bit different, since obviously this fight never happened at this point in the series, at least. So like I said before, Deku, he's very overpowered in this, even when he doesn't have one for all, because there aren't very many quirks that can really counter this type of quirk. So the fight goes pretty much like an unstoppable force versus an immovable object, in my opinion, because Bakugo has a lot of force behind his explosions, while Deku doesn't really have too much problem blocking it or even regenerating himself. So the fight goes on for a bit, with Deku basically using his ability on the ground to kind of almost skewer Bakugo. This kind of, if you ever played My Hero 1's Justice 2, you know what I mean, where Overhaul's ability in the game, where he would touch the ground and then these spikes would go and travel and try to stab Bakugo. Deku would do something similar, but obviously the ends wouldn't be sharp because he doesn't want to kill him or really injure him too much. So Bakugo can just blow them away with his hits or his explosions, and any small explosions that actually do hit Deku, he can just easily heal himself using his quirk. And Bakugo sees this, and he actually wants to see if he could. He knows he has to do it fast, right? And he knows he has to knock Deku out in one hit. So he goes for his howitzer impact. So he would get pretty high, and he starts spinning and spinning and spinning using explosions to make the momentum go higher and higher and higher. And then when he goes towards Deku, right when he does the howitzer impact where the light would glow, Deku actually touches Bakugo, and this actually causes him to basically explode. And you might be saying, like, what? He just killed him? Like, no. What happens here is that he actually touches him and then reforms him behind him. And this is where Bakugo actually does the howitzer impact behind Deku. So Deku doesn't really feel most of the impact, but he actually it actually aims towards the audience. So this is where Cementos would have to come in to basically create the walls to block it. And while Bakugo, he doesn't really know what happened at that point, and he's in a state of confusion, not knowing what happened, as well as being somewhat healed from this experience. So in the midst of the confusion and the smoke, this is where Deku would basically get him out of the ring, just like that. And I don't think a lot of the I guess it would be kind of disappointing for some people in the audience, since almost all of his fights basically came to him getting people out of the ring, because Deku doesn't want to hurt anyone. He knows that he could easily fix people, but he doesn't really want to hurt them. So, and it's also the fastest way, because if he were to go in a long fight, there would be, people like Bakugo would fight for a very long time, so he would want to end it quickly. So yeah, he would get first place. All Might would do the, basically awards and give it to each one, that being Bakugo in second, obviously Deku in first, and Tokoyami in third, since he did get third in canon, and he would still lose and win the same fights as usual, so he would still keep his spot. So yeah, like I said earlier, so this is gonna be the end of the video. Like I said earlier, if my Yuno and Asta video gets 100 likes, the latest version, or the latest part, which is I think part 3, I will make the part 4 pretty soon, as well as do What If Nafumi Was a Sword Hero part 4, I believe. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a like. If you like my content, please subscribe for more. And if you made it to the end of the video, please comment down CS so I know that you support the channel. So with that being said, it's gonna be the video. So yeah.